In just 11 fights, Morrell has taken down 9 formidable challengers, collecting both paychecks and trophies along the way. But his next fight against the undefeated David Benavidez could redefine his career. Born in the heart of Santa Clara, Cuba, Osvaldo Morrell, aka David Morrell Jr., wasn't always the name you'd hear at the top of boxing's world stage. The young man's journey began in the amateur ranks back home in Cuba, where he made a name for himself by capturing both the world and Cuban national championships in 2016 and 2017. Despite his accomplishments in Cuba, David knew the only way forward in his professional career was to find new opportunities outside of his home country, and particularly in the United States. So, in June 2018, David, alongside his father, Rafael Sr., and his brother, Rafael Jr., set out on a daring escape from Cuba. Rafael Sr. fell into the water and was caught by the police, but David and his brother managed to reach Mexico safely. From there, they made their way to Miami, where Osvaldo, now adopting the name David Morrell Jr., signed with Warriors Boxing and stepped into professional boxing. Morrell's first test in the pro ranks came in the form of Yendris Rodriguez Valdez, and he passed it like a storm tearing through a calm sea. Just seconds into the fight, Morrell let loose a vicious combo that rocked Valdez to his core and left him scrambling to regain his footing. Moments later, Morrell latched on to his foe like a predator, striking its prey and leaving no room for escape or survival. Morrell barely broke a sweat in his debut, so the matchmakers decided to turn up the heat with Quinton Rankin, a seasoned veteran who had just gone the distance with former champ Chad Dawson 5 months prior. Rankin was supposed to be a stiffer challenge, but for Morrell, it felt more like upgrading from a stroll in the park to a jog on a treadmill, as the Cuban mercenary connected with bombs from the word go. Within a couple of minutes, Rankin had already smelled the canvas. With Rankin hanging on by a thread, Morrell unleashed 2 final thunderous blows to leave him in a heap. In only his 3rd professional battle, Morrell captured the vacant WBA interim super middleweight title by securing a decision win against Lennox Allen, but his nasty fists were back to work against Mike Gavronski, who was ambushed by Morrell's relentless assault right from the opening bell.
This is too loose. Yeah, both men their credit, okay? And he's solid, he will give you a test, but I just said, Morrell.
Within minutes, it was clear Gavronski was caught in a storm he couldn't weather, as Morrell punished him with uppercuts and straight lefts. With every punch that landed, Gavronski's resolve chipped away like a crumbling wall.
Fights, it was the opponent who did the knocking out, Trayvon Wilson, upsetting Angel Barrientos. Look at Morrell.
And he was ultimately demolished by the raging Cuban bull. 6 months after demolishing Gavronski, Morrell Jr., now elevated as the true champ, defended his super middleweight title against Mario Abel Cazares, who was like a deer in headlights, completely powerless against the barrage of the young Cuban missile, who struck with a precision that left his opponent frozen in place. It took Morrell less than 3 minutes to send Cazares to a place where time does not exist. Morrell's 2nd title defense against Alantes Fox lasted longer, but it was just as destructive. From the moment the bell rang, Morrell greeted Fox with a full-course meal of devastating combos.
Tries to survive, and he does.
Rounds 2 and 3 slowed down a bit, but Morrell's brilliance was still on full display, like a fireworks show with a few brief lulls before the grand finale. By round 4, Morrell had figured out that Fox wasn't pulling any rabbits out of his hat, so With a predator's instinct, Morrell poured on the offense like missiles dropping in quick succession. In the end, it was simply too much for Fox to handle.
Benavidez is taking a close look. They're throwing in the towel.
Morrell's title defense against Calvin Henderson was another sight to behold, as the Cuban powerhouse pounced on Henderson like a lion on its prey, showing no mercy from the get-go. Morrell turned the heat higher with every passing moment, leaving Henderson with the entire ring to run but nowhere to hide.
In his offense is Calvin Henderson as he's been stapled along the ropes by
round 3, Henderson was hanging on for dear life, yet he fought back with the ferocity of a cornered lion.
On the ropes, flush shots from Morrell. Referee Pavon looking on. Henderson, will he survive to see the end of round 3? It's all Morrell.
In round 4, the storm hit again, but this time Henderson couldn't weather it.
Long distance left uppercut. Referee Pavon steps in, waves the...
In his next fight, Morrell landed a knockout so savage that Ido's Yerbossyn didn't just hit the canvas, he hit a whole new dimension, waking up in a place where dreams don't go. Morrell wasted no time proving that he was the better fighter, as he landed hooks that felt like sledgehammers and uppercuts sharp enough to carve marble. By round 3, Morrell was in full flow as he sliced through his opponent's defenses like a katana. By round 4, Yerbossyn was battered, bleeding and barely holding together. Yerbossyn staged a gritty comeback in rounds 6 and 7, landing sharp shots that forced Morrell to plant his feet and dig deeper. By the 8th, Yerbossyn muscled his way inside, and Morrell's tempo seemed to hit a snag like a car stuck in low gear. But as the rounds piled on, the champ found his rhythm again, steering the fight into a one-sided highway with no exits for Yerbossyn. Not long after, it all came crashing down with a knockout that slammed the door shut on Yerbossyn's night. Morrell showed incredible sportsmanship, helping his battered opponent to his corner after the brutal fight, but the damage was too much as Idos was put into a medically induced coma, and it took him nearly a year to recover from that crushing defeat. Morrell, meanwhile, kept his streak of destruction alive when he faced Yamaguchi Falcao and put him on rubber legs as soon as the fight began.
By David Morrell Jr. Right uppercut, jack in the jaw and back.
The problem for Falcao is he's not a boxer and he's in trouble.
Is crumbling, stumbling. He's still on his feet, but not for long. The ropes held him up. He goes down.
Falcao summoned every ounce of strength to rise, only to find himself walking straight into a flurry of punches that hit him like crashing waves. In his final super middleweight title defense, Morrell faced Sena Agbeko in December 2023, when Morrell charged in like a firestorm with a nasty flurry of right and left hooks. The trend carried into round 2 as Morrell's fury lit up Agbeko with no sign of retreat. Though Agbeko tried to fight back with his own firepower, it was like throwing pebbles at a raging storm. Morrell's punches, on the other hand, were destructive bombs, with each one packing the force to leave a crater in Agbeko's skull. In his next fight, Morrell stepped up to the 175-pound division, facing Radivoj Kalajic for the WBA regular light heavyweight title. Morrell entered the ring as a massive 3,000 favorite on the odds, but by the end of the fight, Kalajic had everyone rethinking those numbers. Morrell charged out like a freight train, dominating the first 3 rounds, setting the tempo and commanding the ring like a king. But Kalajic started finding his stride in round 4, showing he wasn't going to roll over. The Serbian warrior picked his moments in rounds 5 to 7, getting through Morrell's defense and shaking up the champs' rhythm with sharp counters and slick combinations.
It's almost like Morrell doesn't have a second game plan. It was we're going to stand there and just...
In round 8, Morrell shifted gears as he landed a thunderous right hook that rocked Kaladze, and a brutal uppercut followed that sent the challenger reeling across the ring. Round 9 started slow, but Morrell ended it with a bang, unloading punishing shots that had Kaladze retreating, trying to keep his feet underneath him. However, in the final 3 rounds, Kaladze came roaring back to make it a dogfight. When the dust settled after 12 rounds of war, Morrell had his hand raised, but it wasn't the one-sided victory many had predicted. It was a hard-fought win, one that showed Morrell still had some growth to do in the higher weight classes. Despite a solid performance, Morrell has yet to fully convince fans that he's ready for the undefeated phenom, David Benavidez, who holds a flawless 29-0 record. But at just 26, the clock is still ticking in Morrell's favor. He has plenty of time to prove that he can dominate not just at 168 pounds, but also at 175. With only 11 fights under his belt, Morrell has already carved a name for himself as one of the most dangerous super middleweights on the planet. His perfect combination of technical precision, fight IQ sharper than a surgeon's scalpel, and raw power that could shatter mountains make him a threat to anyone in the division, including Benavidez. Morrell has all the tools to become a future legend, but the question remains, will he rise to the challenge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a fight breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.